and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. We are inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Appreciate your patience today as we get set for a fantastic trio of guests that will be joining us on today's broadcast. All connected to winning and all, more importantly, winning the right way. Smart people, good people, kind people. And when you see goodness succeed, there's just something amazing about that. So with that being said, I am honored and privileged that today we get to celebrate inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. First and foremost, Zach Tinkham, who will be joining the show in just a little bit. Today on game day, they're in the Final Four as the first time ever being a full-time assistant coach in collegiate basketball. Zach Tinkham, who I met when he was playing himself at Marywood University on the basketball team. Zach joins me today from the NCAA Division II Tournament Men's Final Four. 312 Division II teams. 4 remain. Zach and the Augusta Jaguars are one of those teams, looking for an opportunity at a national championship. After that, at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, I'll be joined by Ed Gosek. He spent 18 seasons at the helm of the Oswego State Lakers men's ice hockey team. In the time that he's been connected with the hockey program for almost 2 decades as a head coach, he has won every single year. 18 seasons, 18 winning seasons. Ed has been as a person, and the support that he has gained over time by just being the kind-hearted man that I got to sit next to just a little while ago. It's been way too long, but I'll never forget that conversation where Ed was there for me, and I tried to be there for him. And I'll never forget sitting in that booth with Ed Gosek, because it was so much more. Not even close to just being about sports. Wake Up Call is where sports meets life, and Ed Gosek embodies that. And he gets to rejoin the show at 10 a.m. Eastern Time today, and I get the honor of being able to speak with Ed again. And I'm excited about it. We'll round out the show with one of the best closers in the world, Gina Castelli, one of my dearest friends, someone who has always been there for me, and someone who I remember the first day I met her, a little over 8 years ago, and we've stayed in touch all the way through, pretty much. Gina, being connected to the Albany basketball program, is coming off of a run to the NCAA Division I tournament for women's basketball. Cannot wait to speak with her about that experience and what she's done at so many levels to have success at D2 and now be a part of success here in D1 and to be connected throughout her career with the Siennas and the Lemoynes and now Albany. Gina Castelli is somebody that I feel like God looks kindly upon, and I'm excited to have a conversation with her once again. This time about making it to the tournament with the Albany Great Danes. A trio of guests whose character, whose appreciation, whose kindness, generosity, and humility are tangible. People who make you want to be better. And people who are always there when you pick up the phone. For Zach Tinkham, Ed Gosek, and Gina Castelli, this isn't just a broadcast today. It's a reminder that there are good people out there doing good work. People that you should get to know if you get the opportunity. People who I'm honored to have in my corner. We'll take a step aside inside the Cafe Kubal studios to get set for Zach Tinkham joining the show here on game day. And I want to welcome you to go to Cafe Kubal in all of their locations. A cup of coffee goes a long way. Chai tea, whatever it may be. I love their chai. That's my thing. I don't go anywhere else for chai. I am consistent at Cafe Kubal. I love the chocolate chip banana bread, and I love everything that they have done in our community to build us up, especially at a time where we needed them most and they needed you most. 324 West Water Street is back open again. Please go out there and support them. It's been a long time, and due to COVID, they had to shut down work at some locations. So to see 324 West Water Street is a tribute to their hard work, and it's a tribute to you. So make sure you go there and grab a cup of coffee, cup of tea, get some good sandwiches, breakfast items while you're listening to the show and watching the show, and of course, all of their treats. Cafe Kubal, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street in Syracuse, inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital in downtown Syracuse, on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse at their drive-thru location, and on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, in their giant behemoth of a brown-striped building. Do not miss out on Cafe Kubal. We all need a cup of something, right? Why not a cup of some good, wonderful, quality, made here coffee and teas, spices and syrups made right here in Central New York, where we know we're supporting local and we know we're supporting our community. With that being said, we'll take a step aside on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. When we come back, the first of our trio today, Zach Tinkham, joins me for a video special from the NCAA Division II Tournament Final Four.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. You are watching and listening on youtube.com and facebook.com/wakeupcalldt. You're listening worldwide on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt and on the homepage of wakeupcalldt.com. And of course, thank you to those of you who have joined us on facebook.com/live-now-dt as well. This has become a habit. It's a beautiful habit. They say that habits take 3 weeks to form, right? 21 days. Well, it's been more than 3 weeks, and this habit is a great habit to have, and that is talking to Zach Tinkham here, somebody that I met in his time at Marywood University as a student athlete, someone that I was always rooting for there. And after that, it was, what I told you and what it's continued to be. Wherever you go, whatever you do, I'm rooting for you. And this has been one incredible season. First season as a full-time assistant coach ever in the world of college basketball. You've been with Augusta longer than this season, but this being your first season as a full-time assistant coach and having the opportunity as an assistant at the Division II level of college basketball to be an NCAA coach at such a young age and have such a fantastic team. You've been spoiled, Zach, and I'm sure that you can second me on the fact that this is one heck of a way to start off your coaching career.
Yeah, Dan, I say as a joke the last couple of days people ask, I say, oh, coaching's easy, Final Four. I know that's not true, obviously. I know they're not all this way. So I'm really just trying to appreciate it, cherish each moment, and get better each day. Because, I need to get better. Our players need to get better. We just learn from each other each day on how to get better. And I think appreciating all wins. It's hard to win a college basketball game. It is hard to win. So I think we're 32-3 right now. I think that's the record. Yeah, and so that's a lot of wins. So we're trying to appreciate that. Each NCAA tournament win, you appreciate more and more. And it all goes back to August. The guys came ready to worked hard in August in the preseason. We started off well. We started off 9-0. And then we lost our last game before break. So we went in 9-1. So that was fun, losing that last game before break. And then going into the tournament just the other day, we really appreciated the Elite Eight win, celebrated it much, and back to work that next morning. And really excited to play IUP tonight.
Yeah, and it's such an awesome thing to be here with you on game day, to know in just a few hours you're going to be tipping off here in the NCAA Men's Basketball Division II Tournament Final Four. That's it. This is the end of the road, and it is an amazing feat to accomplish for the entire staff and all of these student athletes. I would like to go back to the last game here, because the score of the game, the Elite Eight game that you had that sent you into the Final Four, we take a look back at this game, and it was an overtime game, but your team went off in overtime, winning 81-69. You look at this and you say, overtime is a short period. Obviously, it's shorter than a typical half, and sometimes teams struggle to score 2 points, 5 points, 7 points as this game is in extra time and bodies are tired, and it depends on foul situation and whatnot. What can you say about not only winning this game, but the fact that your team went off in the extra period and almost won this game by 20 points with that extra period?
I think the common theme I say, and a lot of times when I talk to you, is it comes back to our veteran leadership. It really does. They're not fazed by anything. Miguel Arnold went off for 33 points. He's in the gym every single day. He works at it every single day. I believe he was 7 for 10 from the three-point land. I think it was 13 for 17 overall, 33 points. Just an absolute great player, all right? Just really showed up. You have Tyshawn Crawford, who felt like he didn't play well, felt like he could have played better. He still had 15 points and 14 rebounds. Yeah. Okay. That's the expectation. Our closer, our point guard, who's our leader, had 7 assists, 0 turnovers, hit some big shots, finished around 13 points, I think. Just great seniors. Troy Cracknell, our graduate student, our senior that plays a lot, didn't have a great shooting night in the fourth quarter, hits a huge three when we need one. All right. Just big-time players making big-time moments, not afraid of the moment, and they wanted to win. They didn't want to go home. Been in Indiana since Sunday. They enjoy the hotel service we're getting here. No one's had to cook any food for the last few days. They just want to keep that going, extend it another couple of days.
Yeah, you look at the fact that, you at halftime in this Elite Eight game, we're leading Chico State 36-30. They came back and we had the same score, but it was flip-flop 36-30 in the second half, advantage to Chico State. Typically the team that forces that, right, that scores more points in the second half to force the game to be tied, typically that team has momentum. How did, in your opinion, this Augusta team cancel that out and make sure that there was no momentum? You scored 15 points, outscoring them 15-3 in overtime. So just what you could say about the fact that this could have been a momentum shift for Chico State and your team silenced that quickly.
Well, we take pride in our defense. We really do. If you look at the stats, I don't know the exact number we're at right now, but all year we've been in the top 3 for field goal percentage defense. So we've taken a lot of pride in that. We know when either our offense isn't on, our defense is what's going to win us the game, and that's what keeps us in the game. So it just happened that our defense we communicated. We were getting hurt on ball screens a little bit earlier on screens. We get bad mismatches, switches. We called off our hot at one point when we were doubling because the rotation out of it wasn't doing great. And our point guard, our leader, said, we're going zone. So we went zone. And he's a guy that traditionally doesn't like playing zone. All right. So for him to say we're playing zone, he wants to win. That's what he's trying to do. He wants to win. So our defense, our zone really played well. Our guards helped rebounding, helped out. We didn't expect Tyshawn to get every single rebound. So we really defended. That's really what it came down to.
Hey, and we look at the facts that, seeing what your team was able to do in this game and to take over. You had made mention of, someone that we talked about last time, the guy that hit the big time shot with 1.7 seconds left, Miguel Arnold, and 33 points in 40 minutes in this game, 7 of 10 from 3, 13 of 17 from the field. You mentioned the double-double from Crawford, as well as the fact of 7 assists and no turnovers from Myers. I mean, these are crucial numbers, and obviously it's a short bench, right? Only 7 played in the game, so you really had to lean on those starters. And like you said, coming off the bench, a couple guys there did some things in moments where you really needed something, a little kickstart and whatnot. So the team overall really comes together in this one. And you look at the stat line and everybody was doing their part. And I think, that's the definition, right, of a team, is that this guy is hitting the big time threes. This guy's making sure he takes care of the boards. This guy is, running your point, minimizing your turnovers and making sure that he's finding people in the right spots and knowing where they need to be. So, I mean, that's, to me, looking at this, pretty much a definition of a complete game, if you ask me.
Absolutely. And, we joke about it as a coaching staff in the sense of we're about to go to Final Four tomorrow, and we try to not send our guys out for warm-ups too early because we only dress 9 guys in uniform, and a lot of guys were like, they're going to get tired warming up for that long. So we wait to send them out a little bit. So guys know their role, and everyone's bought in. There's no complaining, and it goes to off the court as well. We don't have to worry about anyone. That really makes a difference. Our senior leadership will take care of it if anything happens. And guys are bought in. There's no talking about what your role is. Everyone accepts it. They're bought in, and they just want to win. Augusta basketball has never won a national championship, and there's 4 teams left, and all 4 teams here want to win that championship. And we're going to do everything we can to hopefully make that happen. But we got to beat IUP tonight, and they're a great, great team.
Yeah, and being here on game day, just what goes through your body. I mean, this is your first time as a coach or a player in the Final Four. So as an assistant coach, to live in this moment, like you said, you're trying to enjoy it. On game day, you and I had spoken about the fact that for the Elite Eight, you had to wait all day long. And no matter what you did to work out and go here and go there, maybe grab something to eat, watch something, that there was still multiple hours left, knowing that you won't have to wait as long today for the game to get, tipped off here. Just what you can say about what is going through you. Are there jitters? What are the thoughts? What are the emotions, knowing that this is your first Final Four in the history of your life? This is going to be a moment that will live forever and ever. And I want to know what that feels like.
I just try to stick to my routine. I'm a routine guy, so I like to get in the routine. So after this call in a few minutes, I'll head over to shoot around because that's shoot around time they gave us. Come back. I'll try to get lunch back for the guys at around 1:30. We play at 5:30 Central Time because we're in the Central Time Zone. So here it's 5:30. I know it's 6:30 there on the East Coast. But so at 1:30 here, we'll get lunch, and then I'll go scout the game at 3 o'clock. There's a game at 3 o'clock. So if we're fortunate enough to play the next day, I'll scout that game. And then usually with about 8 minutes to go left on the clock in these tournaments, because of the time in between games, I'll go get changed. I'll go get dressed. I'll try to keep my mind. I'll talk to a friend during the day, not even about basketball, just about life, anything to keep my mind shifting and not set on one thing, because it doesn't matter what time the game is. It feels like it takes forever to get to. So it's cool. You get your phone blows up a little bit. You get texts from a lot of people when you're at this stage. People are telling you great job and good luck, and you just want to keep that going. Like I said, it's Thursday. We want to get to Saturday. You got to win tonight. You got to do everything we can to win tonight, and always trying to watch a little bit of film and trying to steal one little thing that you can get that you missed the first time.
Yeah, and 32 wins at this point, looking to put a couple more on there for this season. Only 3 losses. All of those 3 losses came in conference. You have not lost out of conference to anybody this season. What does that say? Because normally in non-conference play, somebody that you don't see all the time, something can shake you up, but you ran through non-conference play before you got into your conference there. And then once you got into the conference, the PBC, you were able to do what you needed to do, and then obviously go on to the conference tournament, win the conference tournament, and punch your ticket. And then since then, back into non-conference play, going up against teams that you're not used to seeing and taking care of business again. What is it about this team? Because at any, D1, D2, D3, it doesn't matter. It is extremely difficult to go non-conference and to have that 0 in the loss column.
Well, the common denominator for great teams, like, you can talk about everything you want and how everything's important, but because you need to have good players if you're going to win games. All that stuff matters. 100% it matters. But you need to have good players. So we're fortunate enough to have really good players here that work really hard. But it's also a testament to the Peach Belt Conference. That's really what it is. It just shows how strong the Peach Belt is. And we're lucky that all year, like every conference game, we went in going, it's going to be a tough one tonight. We got to grind it out to the end. Like, there was no game we looked at and was like, that's an automatic W. That's an automatic W. In conference play, like, that just didn't happen. Like, it's a strength to our conference. We had 4 teams in the Peach Belt make the NCAA tournament. That's a lot. 4 teams to 1 conference make the NCAA tournament. So to be able to compete against those conference and our tough road environments there, and then have a great home environment at home, it just really helped us for a non-conference schedule. And each day we're just trying to improve that record one by one. Just try to get one.
And we look at the road to get to the Final Four. Belmont, Abbey, UNC, Pembroke, Queens University of Charlotte, and Chico State. What have you learned about this team in those 4 games?
Well, we were talking about in the regular season, we didn't have a ton of super close games at the end. Like, we won a lot of games by about 10 points or 12 points, but just the resiliency in these games, especially the Pembroke game, first week, that was to the end battle. They were super physical. They were number 1 in the country in offensive rebounding. So we knew it was going to be a battle. 2 teams going at it. Big guys. They had the player of the year in their conference was a big guy. Tyshawn Crawford was player of the year, co-player of the year in our conference. Big guy. Like, it was going to be a hard-fought battle. Queens, that remarkable game. I'll say one of the most amazing games I've ever been a part of. Like, over 2,000 people there. They only had 3 people score. We just couldn't stop them. All right. Their big guy went off for 33 points, but we didn't let it bother us. We kept going. We took a punch, we do a punch back. We took a punch, we do a punch back. We go down, 8 seconds left. We go down 2. All right. We go run a play that we've drawn up, and we practice all year since the guys have been here. Just the resiliency, the fight back, the never quit, like never back down. And they're not scared. We don't play scared. So that's very important. The confidence in one another, the coaching staff has confidence in the players have confidence in the coaching staff, and it's just a really exciting thing to be a part of, and I hope we can keep it going.
Zach Tinkham here with us, Augusta Jaguars assistant coach for the men's basketball team here in the NCAA Division II Final Four, today being game day. You spoke about the fact that there were no easy games in the Peach Belt, and to have 4 teams advance to the NCAA tournament this year on the men's side of things, just saying the strength of this tournament, or the strength of the conference as a whole to get into the tournament. As you mentioned, that there were no easy games and those were close-knit contests, and you knew that nothing was going to be a walkover by any stretch of the imagination. Did those games in the Peach Belt, in your opinion, give this team the experience and the belief, having done it, that when you got in these tight games like 77-76 and you got in this Elite 8 game where you went into overtime with Chico State, do you feel like the games in the Peach Belt that you knew nothing was going to come easy, did they prepare you to withstand the games here in the NCAA tournament when you've been pushed?
Absolutely, because the Peach Belt was filled with great players, great coaches, challenging us every night. we've been nationally ranked the whole year, so you get everyone's best shot when you're nationally ranked. Whenever there's a number in front of your name, people really come after you with all you got. Like our losses at Lander, we played terrible. They played really well. At Columbus, we played terrible. They played all right that game. They were better than us. And we felt at Flagler when we lost, we felt we played well. We were just missing Kirby, a starter. And that was our one loss that we felt we played well. But all those wins and those 3 losses, they really prepared us for the end. The confidence to be able to stop good players, good teams, like for possessions, gives us confidence now. The other day, it was tie game, 18 seconds to go against Chico State. End of regulation, they had the ball. There's timeout. We said, all right, we need to stop. Let's go to overtime. Or if we don't get a stop, our season's over, and we got to stop. So I think those moments really carry over and give you belief in those big-time moments when they're important now. They're pretty important now.
Yeah, and that's the thing, seeing the fact that this team has just had resolve. They've just been calm, cool, and collected. You've won 18 games in a row. How do they stay so poised? Because this moment can get nerve-wracking, right? It can get under your skin. It can get into your head. And, being ranked all season, why is this team so locked in? Why have they not bought into their hype? Why are they not feeling themselves, so to speak, and staying eye on the prize, knowing that the season's not over? Yeah, you're 32-3, but to hoist a trophy, you got to be 34-3. Why is this team so locked in?
They want to win, and it's the veteran leadership. That's what I was going to say. 3 years ago, Troy, Miguel, Tyree, and Darren, those were all lost in the regional championship game at Queens. So that was the Sweet 16. They want to go back. They want to get to the Elite 8. They want to get to the Elite 8. Last year, with Troy and Miguel being out the whole year and us only having 8 guys, they want payback this year. Like, guys want to win, and they just are so happy for each other's success. That's a huge thing. As a teammate, like if you're not happy for your teammate's success, especially if it's someone that plays your position, that's the definition of a true team, like a great teammate. If you're cheering on the success of someone that plays your position, especially, that's a great teammate. And our guys are just so happy for each other. And if they win awards, they all congratulate them. They give them a hard time, make them feel a little weird about themselves, or give them a hard time and make their face turn red or something. I don't know. But they just love being around each other, and they love winning. They love winning. Winning's fun.
We look at your chapter as a student athlete at Marywood for the Pacers, and your chapter that's, this book is getting written as we speak, and it's just the first few pages as an assistant coach at the collegiate level. How do you look back? Because do you ever find yourself having a moment standing on the sideline watching the guys practice or watching them in the game and seeing them on the court and feeling, kind of reliving your moments and thinking to yourself, do you ever have a moment, especially when the game's really tight, really close, that you want to put your foot out and kind of just, pull off the pants and have shorts underneath them and run out there yourself?
Well, you always, as a competitor, you always want to be out there. Like, you always want to run out there. Like, I think that's natural. Like, you always think, oh, I can't believe my playing days are over. Like, I want to be out there. But I would say the moments more is off the court. Like, maybe if I'm staying around before practice, like just watching the guys saying hello to everyone. Or if I'm, like, sitting in my hotel room and, like, I just think about, like, how my life was 1 year ago today, how my life was 2 years ago today. Yeah. Like, 2 years ago today, like, I just had a nose surgery from a broken nose, and that was getting all fixed. That was messed up. I had shoulder surgery coming up on the way. I was just a mess. All right. So, like, life is definitely different. Like, Scranton, like, I loved my time at Scranton. I always say that. I miss Scranton. I miss the people. Like, it was a great time, and it helped me prepare me for this in Augusta and now while we're in Indiana. But it's crazy to think about to me, absolutely, that it's only been 2 years. Like, since I've been in Scranton, like, it feels longer.
You talk about shoulder surgery and a broken nose. What would you say now that you are where you are, and now that you're, here in the Final Four and you have an opportunity to win a national championship, if you could go back in time during that moment of adversity, what would you say to yourself?
I think one of the best things I saw, so my senior year in college, what I noticed, I saw a quote from Buzz Williams that has really stuck with me. And it said, "The work is the reward." And that has really stuck with me since that, because in high school and college, I had so many injuries that, like, it always got taken away from me what I wanted to do. Yeah. All right. Like, wanted to play. I wanted to compete, and that got taken away from me. I couldn't do that. I could be there, but I couldn't compete. I couldn't do that. Well, on the coaching side, I can work. All right, I can go to work. That's my thing. Like, yes, there are definitely better assistant coaches than me. I know that. All right, there definitely are. But I take pride in showing up to work and working hard. So last year as a volunteer, I viewed it as I did all these side jobs, and that was work. But the reward was I got to go to basketball during the day and all day. So I was suffering through that, but I was basketball. Yes, there's early mornings or late nights when I wish I could be doing something else, but I'm doing basketball for a job. Like, that's the reward. The work is the reward. Like, that's fun. Like, preparing for a game. Like, I'm preparing for a game tonight in the Final Four. Like, there's only 4 teams left. There's 312 Division II teams. So appreciate the work. Don't always go for yourself. And as competitive as you are, you always want to win. But appreciate that you're able to do the work. Because, like, especially in coaching, like this time, you see people losing jobs all the time. Like, it's a tough business. And I know that hasn't happened to me yet. I'm sure at some point in my career it will. I'm sure it will. But, like, appreciate the work that you're able to do. Because if you truly love it, then that really is the reward. Because that's what you do. So that's what I would tell myself when I was always bummed out about all the injuries I had. So it did appreciate, like I always said, I don't care if I'm running in practice. It's better than sitting out on the sideline. So when you have the right support system, it's easier than not. But yeah.
When you look at that central support system, who are they? Who are the people that now in the Final Four are the ones that you want to call and just say, hey, I love you. Watch it at 6:30. Who are those people?
So there's different people. There's different, like, I always talk to my family. Like, I always get a text after every game from a family, or I text my dad today and text my mom about something. My mom will say something about basketball, hoping she's correct, and, just giving a whirlwind for it. My dad will say, I've actually reached out recently to an old friend back at Marywood, so it's good to talk to them. Like, they understand my thought process and everything. I have a good friend in Augusta that I talk to pretty much each day. So it's just the people I trust, and I don't always trust a ton of people, me personally, when it comes to personal things. I don't know. That's just how I am. I'm not a huge talker. So, but I think having 1 or 2 is just someone I know I can call that. It really is a good thing for myself. So,
well, today is a very special day. The Augusta Jaguars of the great state of Georgia are here inside of the NCAA men's basketball Division II tournament Final Four. As Zach said, there are 312 teams. There are 4 left. One of them is named Augusta. And so this moment, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, they're an hour behind us. So to them, to Zach, it's 5:30 p.m., but to here on the East Coast, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, the second part of the doubleheader that will show us who will be in the national championship game for the NCAA Division II tournament finale. Zach, I know you got a lot of stuff going on. You got shoot around going on, but I could not be happier to think back at that time when I first met you at the tip-off dinner at Marywood University, and Enrico Mastriani was picking who was going up on the stage, and Marywood had never had a media day. I said, I know what this looks like. I said, the ACC, there's a lot of things that I've been a part of. I said, why not Marywood? Why not, provide an opportunity to have a media day to people that I feel deserve it? And I think everybody does at any level. I don't think D1, D2, D3, there should be any distinction of difference there. I think every student athlete works their butt off. Like you said, the work is a reward, so you deserve it. And he said to me, okay, there's going to be 3 that come up, and here's the 3 people, and you sat right in the middle. And that's the day I realized the Zach Tinkham smirk. It's always there, and we got to sit and talk there then. And from that moment on, you were always great. I mean, I remember coming in the locker room or just walking out, wherever it may be, and you would, I didn't even know if you saw me, and you'd go like you were going out of the room, and you'd go, hey, Dan, how are you? And that'd be that quick. And always from the day we met each other, always respectful, always took the time to say hello, always good to me, gave me more credit than I deserve. So I want the world to know that Augusta not only has a fantastic assistant coach, but you, from everything that I've known, have always been a fantastic person who takes the time to say hello. And I think that, and I'm sure that with your student athletes, it resonates that you care about people and it's meaningful to you to make those relationships and to actually see people succeed beyond yourself. So I would say that from the moment I met you to where you stand today, I'm proud to know you because you've been a really good guy. And I love seeing good people succeed.
Well, I really appreciate that, Dan. That means a lot. And I always appreciate your support and all the support you give to Marywood. That's always my alma mater. And still to this day, still stay in contact, which is nice.
Yeah, and absolutely. So I know you got a lot to get to. We have created a habit. I want the habit to continue. So get after it tonight. Have a great time. Shout out to you and the entire coaching staff there and with your team, of course. And I want to give a shout out to the man that gave you an opportunity, Coach Dip. So to the whole team, to the student athletes, the coaching staff, and to everybody connected to Augusta, go out there, give it all you got as you have. This team has never laid down for anybody, and I don't see it happening now. So I'm excited about this game against IUP, and I am more than excited about the fact that I believe that this team has what it takes to keep these conversations going. So with that being said, enjoy the Final Four, and I look forward to talking with you soon.
Thanks, Dan. Hopefully it's a good one tonight. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout central and upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on Facebook Live on facebook.com/livenowdt, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. So however you're tuning in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we appreciate you being here every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So set it, lock it in, and keep it forever, because we're here for you. Inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, and Cafe Kubal with locations on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, and 401 South Salina Street in Syracuse, as well as inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital in downtown Syracuse, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road in North Syracuse at the Sweetheart Corners, that you will find their drive-through location and their giant behemoth of a brown stripe building with an expanded parking lot and a double-decker opportunity to enjoy the cafe on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York. Cafe Kubal, support local today. With that being said, Zach Tinkham just joined us here on game day as his awesome opportunity to be an assistant coach on this squad. First time that he's ever been a full-time assistant coach in the collegiate basketball ranks. He was a part of Augusta last year, got promoted to full-time assistant coach with Coach Dip on the team, and this opportunity to be a full-time head coach for the first time, for full-time assistant coach, pardon me, for the first time ever, head coach down the road in my opinion, but first ever a full-time assistant coach, Zach Tinkham, being able to be a part of a Final Four run for the Augusta Jaguars, and they don't look to be done. And if you know a Jaguar, you know the Jaguars typically don't like to stop running. So we'll see if this run can continue. 32-3 record. They need 2 more to hoist the national championship trophy, and they will tip off tonight. I'm ecstatic for this, so shout out to Tinkham and the entire team. Coach Dip, who gave Zach an opportunity. Thank you for that. And to all of the Augusta Jaguars and all of the support. I'm very excited about the opportunity that we have today for a doubleheader inside of the NCAA Division II men's basketball. Chance to see who will be in the national championship. 312 teams in NCAA Division II men's basketball, and it's all down to 4. And that will be at 4 p.m. Eastern Time today. We will see Black Hills State and Northwest Missouri State tip off against each other for the rights on one side of the bracket to go to the championship game. And then the Augusta Jaguars with Zach Tinkham and the crew will play IUP of Pennsylvania at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the right to be on the other side of the championship. So doubleheader today for NCAA Division II men's basketball in their tournament. March Madness continues as we have a 4 p.m. Eastern Time tip for Black Hills State and Northwest Missouri State, and a 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time tip for Augusta and IUP. Augusta with Zach Tinkham, Marywood University alum, student-athlete alum, and a friend of mine who I'm so excited is here today inside of the Final Four. I just keep saying Final Four. The Final Four. You make it to the Final Four, over 300 teams plus, 312 teams, you make it to the Final Four. That's a beautiful thing. Coach Dip, as well as the entire staff at Augusta, including Zach Tinkham, all the student athletes, Miguel Arnold playing out of his mind, just everything the guys are doing. I am so happy for Augusta University down in Georgia that they advanced here. I'm so happy for a friend, and I'm so happy that we keep having more of these conversations, because that means they're continuing to move forward. So I look forward to getting to have another conversation, as I said to Zach, I look forward to having another one here very, very soon. So, with that being said, Ed Gosek's going to be joining us next. We have a ton of great things going on when it comes to tournaments, and we just saw the CBI, the College Basketball Invitational. I saw it last night, got the last few seconds there, and made sure to put those on our social media, Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, Twitter at CallDT, and Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT, having the opportunity to share those moments with you. And UNC Wilmington, the Seahawks, winning over the Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders and having the opportunity to hoist their trophy in the College Basketball Invitational of NCAA Division I men's basketball. So awesome stuff. The NIT has also brought us to where they stand right now, which I'm very, very excited about this. The updated bracket of the NIT. Some awesome teams that are going to be tipping off here as well. So very, very much looking forward to this as we take a look at the NIT, knowing the teams that are going to be moving forward here, which is it's going to be fantastic. You know, I love this time of year because there's so many things going on, from NCAA Division I, Division II, Division III, and then in Division I you have the NCAA tournament, you have the NIT, you have the CBI, and then you look at the USCAA, which Brian and Stratton men's and women's basketball got to be involved in. You got the NJCAA, which OCC's men's and women's basketball team got to be involved in. So I'm excited about all of this, the semis, and it's not going to be at the Garden after this year for at least the next couple of years. So you got to enjoy it now. It's been in the Garden for, since 1938 or something crazy. And 2023-2024 NIT semis and championship will not be at the Garden, which is really sad. The Final Four of the NIT, Xavier, who will return back to the Garden after losing in the Big East tournament, St. Bonnie's, what up? And Texas A&M, who I believe had the biggest case to get into the NCAA tournament, and also Washington State won last night. So Washington State will be going there as well. Unique here in that I've covered Xavier, I've covered St. Bonaventure, and I've covered Buzz Williams, who's now at Texas A&M. So 75% of the NIT Final Four I'm connected to in some way in my trails, which I'm very excited about, and I think it's going to be awesome. So very much looking forward to it and cannot wait to see the NIT. Obviously, the NCAA tournament for men's basketball, D1, continues on tonight, and we will know who's heading on to the Elite Eight from this. So this is going to be an awesome moment as well. And so there's just a lot of great stuff going on in the sport of basketball, and I just can't wait to see how things ship out. The women's side of things continue to push forward in D1 as well. And looking at D3, I want to give a shout out to Randolph-Macon and Elmhurst, who played in the national championship for the men's side of things in the basketball ranks there on the NCAA Division III men's basketball. Randolph-Macon winning a championship. Marietta made it to the Final Four, the team that's obviously moved on here after defeating Oswego State in a close one. So Marietta made it all the way to the Final Four in this, and so I want to give them props for the work that they did as well, because that's, obviously they put a lot of work in themselves. So big ups to them for that. I do want to get to the women's bracket really quick as we get set to have Ed Gosek on the show. I want to shout out Women's Division I and where we're currently at right now. So we got some games to be played, some decisions to be made, and I'm excited about this. Louisville will take on Tennessee. Michigan will take on South Dakota. Indiana will take on UConn. And NC State will take on Notre Dame. We also have the likes of Iowa State taking on Creighton, and South Carolina, North Carolina. That's going to be a cool game. And then we have Stanford, Maryland, and Ohio State and Texas. And we'll be talking to Gina Castelli in just a little bit, because Albany faced Louisville as Louisville advanced in the bracket here. They got to face them in the round of 64. So we'll discuss that. In Division II, I want to give a shout out and big old props to what we have going on here is the Division II Women's Basketball Championship. We'll have Western Washington against Glenville State, and that game is going to be this Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So a shout out to the teams that made it all the way there, and a shout out to our teams that are in the championship game for D2. And then in women's basketball D3, to take a look at how everything shook out here. A big shout out to Hope. How about that? Hope advances through. Hope leads the way. Hope is the one thing that remains. That's a pretty cool story. Wisconsin Whitewater losing to Hope in the national championship for Division III women's basketball. Hope 71-58 of Wisconsin Whitewater. So pretty cool stuff there. Big shout out to everybody all around the country that is competing, and win or lose, congratulations for all that you've done to get to where you are. With that being said, we'll take a step aside for a fast break, and when we come back, we will have my guy, Mr. Ed Gosek, joining the show here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life, inside of the Cafe Kubal studios.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
This is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge, and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item, available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you? The Millhouse Market, located on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, is worth the drive every time. Make sure you make your way out to the Millhouse Market every Tuesday through Sunday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Fantastic opportunities for you, and unlike any other place you're going to go to. I know that because I've tried a lot of that menu, from the breakfast pizzas to the awesome sandwiches to the Cobb salad to everything that they have, including those fantastic desserts and the sun-dried tomato mozzarella bread. There is nothing like the Millhouse Market, and I love the fact that not only are they special and unique in what they make, but it's how they treat people, led by Rebecca Alford. She has done so many things, especially in these last couple years, to make things easier on you, the customer, you, the guest. And I want to thank her for all the work that she's done tirelessly to have the bistro menu that changes every week inside, as well as the general store with local products from local companies, fantastic store with soaps and syrups, as well as honeys, jewelry, and other things made right here in our communities. And of course, they have their drive-through window where you can grab your food and go. You can order today by calling 315-298-4104. You can also call them for catering, 315-298-4104. And you can download their app on the Millhouse Market by searching Millhouse Market on the Google Play or Apple App Store. So make sure you do that today. And trust me, I've said it to you for a long time, and I'll say it all the time. They are worth the drive every single time. So with that being said, we're back here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We're sports news. Privileged to welcome my next guest. It's been way too long since the last time we got to get on the air together. and I blame myself for that. So it's not on Ed at all. That's on me. So I'm very happy. Oswego State has been a fabric of what I've done for years on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, speaking with numerous coaches, and definitely spending some extra time with the Jason Leones and the Scott Landers and the Ed Goseks of the world, and getting to sit with a bunch of them, and really sit with all of them, and to be able to do some shows on site, on location together, and get to know them. And that's how I got to know Ed, and that was such a beautiful time. I mentioned it earlier in the show that, off the air, we just had very heartfelt moments, and I got to know Ed the man, which is well beyond Ed the coach, and he's a phenomenal coach, a better person. So for me, when it comes to Oswego State, I've always been connected because I wanted to be, and the people that I've met by working to establish that connection has been incredible, and they've been the other side of the bridge, and they've definitely given me an opportunity to meet some fantastic people by opening the door. So I want to thank Oswego State. I want to thank each of the coaches, and Ed is at the top of that list with these awesome people that I've gotten to meet. So with that being said, the Oswego State Lakers men's hockey head coach, 18 seasons, 18 winning campaigns. Every time this man is there, there's success at Oswego. And he is known by, I know he's a very humble guy, but he is known as a living legend. And so I now proudly welcome in somebody who is a great coach and a better person, Ed Gosek. Ed, how you doing today?
Good morning, Dan. Thank you for the nice words. I'm not sure. I think that just means you've been doing something too long.
So, no, I can promise you, Ed, there's people that do things for a long time that aren't good. So I can honestly tell you that, just because you do it for a long time doesn't mean you do it right. And you definitely have done something for a wonderful span of time at Oswego, and you have done it right. 18 seasons, 18 winning campaigns. What goes into that, Ed, that you, even when challenged, even when pushed, even in adversity, even in the year where I think it was like 14, 11, and 3 or somewhere around that range, that you found a way to stay above water no matter what?
Well, it starts with recruiting. You have to have, good players that are good people that buy into what you want to do and how you do things. We had a stretch there where we were in the Final Four 4 or 5 years in a row, along with the national championship. And it just, when you're at the top, as we always say, it's a lot of fun, clutching, grabbing, whatever you have to do to get to the top. But to stay on the top when everybody's out, brings their A game against you, and everybody's using everything they can to recruit against you, it's not easy to stay on the top. And, but it starts with the recruiting. Our staff, and the commitment by the college, our athletic department, to support us, the local fans, which it all goes hand in hand. We try to give back to the community with community service and doing a lot of things, which helps with the locals and our students coming to the games, which helps to a great atmosphere, so that when you bring recruits in, they see that you have the support of your community and your college, and it's a fun place to play with a winning program. And it's, you just keep building off of it. But it's, with COVID, with the portal, with things changing on how recruiting is done, the days of just out working people by getting out on the road constantly, it's changed. Coaches can be very successful in recruiting by sitting in their office with Instat and the other programs that are available to watch players all over the U.S. and Canada and Europe. So it's closed the gap. There's a lot of good hockey players out there. There's an abundance right now of junior players that have that are committed at D1, that are very good D3 players. And there's the transfer portal now, which is new, with players able to transfer without penalty. So it's really changed the way in which we approach recruiting. And we do our best to stay on top. The consistency, I'm very blessed to have Danny Ford and Mark Digby and John Whitelaw now. They're an awesome staff to work with, and they're here with the same core values that we've had in our program for a long time, and that's where it starts.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, it's gotten interesting and it's gotten unique, and like you said, you can get on the road in the past and go out there and spend more hours and go to more places and do more things, but now people can check the transfer portal and sit in their office and not have to go anywhere. How have you felt challenged as a head coach in the world of this transfer portal and the fact that digitally somebody could just sit in their car on their phone if they want to? So how have you felt challenged by the new world that we live in making sure that you're finding the right guys and that you're staying competitive in the recruiting world?
That's a great question, because just because a kid played at a D1 school doesn't mean that he's, it's not that he's not D1 talent, but the gap between the lower end D1 programs and the top D3 programs is it's a fine line. And if they're not playing in a D1 program, there's usually a reason, and sometimes that they make mistakes. And so now with the portal, I will say that the portal's flooded with players that, are fourth, fifth liners for forwards, or they're the 6, 7, 8th D-man, or they're the second string goalie, and they want an opportunity to play more. And you have to really be, you have to due diligence and making sure that, it's easy for us when they're players that we had recruited that went, or that we had watched play before, but it's a slippery slope, and you have to make sure that it's the right fit and the right character. First of all, to make sure that it's not a personality flaw, and that the reason that they're, on the portal is a flaw, or not a flaw, but they're not as good, as that program was looking for. So you have to be careful with that. With us, it's got to be the right fit. And, you're not just taking a kid because he played at a D1 program. We've been fortunate. Players that we've had come in off the portal have all been good people, first of all. We always have high expectations for everyone. Some have met those expectations and some haven't. But first and foremost, you have to make sure that they have the humility and that they're willing to earn their spot here in the lineup by what they do here and not what they've done in the past. And they quickly will earn the respect of the players that are here if they have the right attitude and they have the right work ethic and they have the humility to go along with that.
That coming here from Ed Gosek, the head coach of the Oswego State men's hockey team. And Ed, success is one thing. Sustainability of success is another thing. What would you attribute to, as recruiting has changed, times have changed, social media has affected a lot of things, how has Oswego State stayed consistently productive and consistently on the winning side of things in these 18 years, as we've seen in the last 2 decades, a lot of change and sometimes rapid change?
Yeah, you always, as you get older, you question yourself. When you're younger, your ego sometimes gets in the way. You think you're doing things always the right way, and how you go about things, and are we up to date with the latest systems, and are we training the right way, are we practicing the right way, are we too much video, not enough video? I mean, you could beat yourself up over every aspect of it. Are we recruiting the right kids? Or always a 5-year plan? Where do we think we need to be in 5 years? What type of players do we need to have? There was one point when we were in the Final Four where we were, losing the national championship game, those years, and we felt we had to get bigger and we had to get stronger. And at the same time, the West Coast and the NHL was dominating the Stanley Cup playoffs, the LA Kings and Anaheim, and and they were big, strong, physical teams. And we were getting beat by big, strong, physical teams. We tried to go that way. We lost, I think we lost our identity along the way a little bit there. And I think we're back on track now with the type of players that fit the way that we want to play. But you have to, always be questioning yourself and trying to adapt. But I think the consistency part, the bottom line for us is good guys that are willing to sacrifice, and deep down in, they might not like the amount of training we do, but I think the discipline and the commitment to that, to those standards and the work ethic that the players put in, is what contributes to that success.
And seeing that, like you said, always trying to find what you can do better and how you can do that. And a lot of what you stated this morning, speaking here with Ed Gosek, the Oswego State Lakers men's hockey head coach here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. A lot of what you said has come down to personal responsibility, character, morality, finding people of good value. Ed, you are one of those people, so I know that you can find that in other people, but has it become more difficult with the smoke and mirrors of life today to find who really has the character that you're looking for?
Yeah, great question. Because we're pretty thorough. We talk to players, coaches. We talk to teammates of theirs. We talk to opposing coaches. We parents of our players that know the kids, the young men. And even with that said, even with an endorsement by a lot of people, until you really get them here on campus, or you go to their homes, you meet their families, you see how they treat their brothers, their sisters, their parents, their friends. You try to get a good idea. 4 years is a long time to have a kid that's a pain in the ass or not a good person. So you do everything you can to ensure that you're bringing in good people. But there's no guarantee on anything. And they're young college kids. They're going to make mistakes, and we've all done that. And you know what? You learn from your mistakes. But when there's consistent mistakes over and over, and it doesn't meet our culture, then they need to move on and go somewhere else. It doesn't happen very often. Most of the players buy into our culture and our philosophy here of first being good people, being committed to academics, athletics, and social life a distant third. The social aspect is an important part of growing up through college. I've been a firm believer that, it should be fun. College, they should have a great time. But there's a line, and they learn, they need to learn that responsibility. And a lot of times they're getting it at home from their parents, and a lot of times they're not. And so, usually, there's great parents that have bad kids, and there's good parents, that have bad kids. So it's just, you try to find the right guys with character that want the discipline, that want structure, that understand you're playing for a team and not for yourself. And to your point, though, is it hard to find those guys? It has gotten more difficult. And I think it's just the culture now of our sport where, if they're not happy at one junior program, they ask for a trade or they move on to another one. Or if they're not good enough to play on one team, the coaches push them down a level or trade them to someone else. And they always, I don't want to say here the instant gratification, but they want to play. And what we have found is just the determination and players to, put their dues as a freshman, pay their dues as a sophomore with maybe a few more games or improved ice time, that end up being very good for their junior and senior year. That is a process. And when you find the ones that do that, when they do end up playing a lot for you, our goalie this past year, Steve Kozakowski, is a great example. He hardly played or didn't play at all his freshman year. ended up being put into a starting role. Sophomore year had his COVID year, and then this year was our starter for the majority of the year. You love to see those stories for the players that pay their dues, put the work in, put the effort in, and then are rewarded. So there's a lot of lifelong lessons for those players.
Speaking here with Ed Gosek, and I appreciate that, very much, and appreciate your honesty and all of that. I do have to ask you at a total aside before we get back to what we were just talking about is Dr. Linda Lemura, the president of Lemoyne College, had asked me a question that she really needed an answer to, and this may be a tough one, but I need you to think about this. The tie in the picture that you have that I put up on social media, your headshot for Oswego State for the coaching staff page, that green and gold tie, do you know where you got it? Because she wants to get one, and she asked me specifically where you got that tie.
Great question. I purchased it right here at the college bookstore.
Oh, really? You got it right there. Okay.
So she drives down right here to the Deborah Stanley Convocation Center, right up top at the college store. I believe they still have them. So God bless my wife Mary. She purchased it for me 6 years ago, and in that picture that you're talking about, though, I had hair. I didn't have wrinkles, and the hair that I had then wasn't gray. So we need to update that headshot. But no, it's proud of our school colors. I know Lemoyne is the same colors, and they've got a great athletic program there. So I would be glad to purchase one and send it up there to Lemoyne.
Well, I'm sure, Linda, if you're listening, that was a fantastic answer to that question. So appreciate it, and appreciate Dr. Linda Lemura obviously showing love to you out there, Ed, and right back. And it shows what our community of Central and Upstate New York is all about, and how one hand helps the other. And that's just, it's what we need now more than ever. To keep with that, this world, as you know, Wake Up Call is where sports meets life. I'm not strictly just a sports show. I'm not statistics and blah, blah, blah. I mean, like, we talk about them, we back up points with factual evidence, but when it comes to what this show is about, it's about the people. And in the world that we live in today, as a sportscaster, I still have to come on here and speak about what's going on in the world, and speak about, frustrations and pain and inequalities and injustice. And I feel you and I are people of faith, and I know that you've been challenged more than anyone should have ever been. And so in that challenge of faith, in the last couple of years, I have really found that, I said to my dad a couple of days ago, I said, Pop, this world seemed to go in a direction that was negative, and then it would come back. And eventually it would spin back. And I said, in the last 2 years, I feel like I'm waiting for it to spin back. And it's just been really trying. How have you dealt with the fact that the world continues to challenge us all? It continues to challenge faith. And, outside of an ice hockey rink, there's so much more going on. How have you tackled the world that we live in today?
Well, just, the way you get through, the story. My wife, Mary, battling ovarian cancer for 5 years. And, I think back to her comment of just one day at a time, and find the positive in each day, and try to enjoy each day. It's the only today that you get. And, her words, I think, for me, have carried over, through this, starting with COVID, with our players, all the athletes, not just our team, but not getting to practice or play last season. And losing their identity as an athlete here on campus and losing the structure that they've had in their lives for most of them since they were little kids playing hockey every winter. And then, losing that, and from a coaching standpoint of doing something for 30 something years, and then, now you're not doing that, and not being able to, everything from go to church to meet with your children to having holiday parties, it's challenged all of us. And so just one day at a time, and be grateful for what we have. And, and now through, things going on in the Ukraine, it's just, you pray for those people, and you see what they're going through. And we really here have no right to complain about anything compared to what they're going through. But as far as challenging it, just my own thing is each and every day trying to make ourselves better. And whether it's our players or our staff or, my friends, is, you try to be positive. I think, this has taught me anything. It's just, who wants to be around someone that's negative and, I'll say complaining all the time or finding just the bad in the world. It's there, and obviously it's not a good thing. And you hope that things will change and the people will be just, better decisions and better people and care about humanity. And I think, I'm not a political person, but our country certainly has been divided by things that have gone on here. And whether it's the right thing or not, I don't know. But I think, our country's been pushed apart by, it starts at the top, and you're a reflection, the same way we say to our players, they're a direct reflection of your coaching staff. And if we allow things to happen and attitudes to take place, then that's what's going to occur. And I think that's what's happened here in our own country. And, that's just my own opinion on that, but it just, not right or wrong. It's just, good people doing the right things, in the long run. It can make a big difference in this world, and hopefully there can be some type of a peace agreement over there in the Ukraine, and here hopefully we're on the right track with getting COVID under control, and one day at a time.
Yeah, coming from Ed Gosek, and I appreciate that answer. I appreciate your thoughts and your prayers for the people of Ukraine. And some of us, myself included, know people who are directly connected to the families that may or may not be safe right now. So, prayers go to everyone. I can't even believe that this could even happen in today's world, that this would even be allowed to happen. So I'm hopeful that people in power will actually care about the people of Ukraine as if they were their own children, and stop thinking that, well, at least it's not us, because that's not good enough. Ed, when we speak about challenges, to get back to the rink, what do you consider to be your greatest challenge? I mean, we look back on 18 years so far at Oswego, and having that year that you didn't get to coach, which was insane for all of us. Is that the greatest challenge that you've had to go through, is having it taken away? Or is there another moment that you can point to say that this was the greatest challenge in your career?
Yeah, combination. I mean, we've never been, none of us have been dealt anything like this. So it was certainly, if anything, I think it's rejuvenated myself, and it's learned a different perspective, that I'm grateful to be able to be playing, to, be around the players. The winning, the losing, that's important. Winning trophies, important, but not as important as the friendships. And, they're young guys. They keep me young. They're energetic. They're enthusiastic. They're fun to be around. And that camaraderie is what, we missed most. And I'm trying to pull 21 new guys together this year and mold them into a team, and mold them into, and getting them to understand the culture that we have here and what our program is about. it's been a challenge. And this year, honestly, it was probably one of the most rewarding years of my coaching career. I told the players that they've made it fun, they've made it enjoyable. I think for them also, not getting to play last year, they learned to appreciate that the love of the game and the reason that we do this and their commitment to it. And I think that carried us a long way this year, and we're very optimistic about our future with the amount of new guys that we have, and we still felt, even though we lost at our league championship, that we're still growing. There's still a lot of room to grow. So we're excited, and I'd say that as far as the challenge, this was probably one of the most challenging years in the last year, coming off the COVID year. So, other than, maybe my first year taking over from George Roll back in 2003, coming off a national championship loss, the bar was set pretty high and putting undue pressure on myself to feel like I had to keep it there. This was a challenge for sure.
Coming here from your Oswego State Lakers men's ice hockey head coach, Ed Gosek, who has been with Oswego as a player, as an assistant, as the head coach, has spent so much time with Oswego State. And so, Ed, in closing here, every time we talk, it opens up so many doorways that I want to get to, and we will over time, God willing, by the grace of God. And so today, even though I want to keep you on for the next hour plus, I will ask my final piece of today, which is for you to be connected to Oswego State for all of these years, to know what it's like to be a student athlete, know what it's like to be an assistant, know what it's like to be a head coach, know what it's like to win a championship, and to see all of the successes, not just on the ice, but the successes of these young men as they grow into their profession. And do they continue to play? And what else do they do? And becoming fathers and whatnot. So what can you say about what Oswego State has done for you, in your opinion?
No, I don't know, how most coaches approach it. For me, it's there's no other place that I'd rather be coaching. I mean, you have opportunities to move on or go to other places that you always think are better, situations, or fuel your ego that you have to coach at the Division I level or the pro level or whatever. And as you get older, you realize when you get an opportunity to make a difference in players' lives, and I've had a lot of them over the last 30 years, and the greatest compliment that I get is the friendships afterwards and their families and their children, and all of that I've been blessed to be able to have an influence and make a lot of friends here along the way. But the college here, I hated to see President Stanley retired. Her and her husband, Mike, were extremely good to our program, to myself, to my wife, Mary, my family. A lot of my family has worked here at the college, and it's our home, and I'd do anything for them. The people that are here now, our administration, are great people. Mary Toll, our running the college now, has done a great job of holding things together and moving us forward. While we're waiting to appoint a new president. So times change, and I'm grateful for all the opportunities that they've given me and what they've provided all the athletics here on campus and our students. It's an awesome school. The values here, I think that's what keeps me here, is they're on the same page. We want to win. We want to be successful. But we don't want to win at all costs. You do it with good people, conducting themselves the right way and preparing them for life. And for that, I'm blessed and grateful that the college has given me the opportunity, and it has supported me along the way.
Well, Ed, as always, you never cease to amaze and take the opportunity. I mean, just to speak with you is, and I'm not saying this to say this. From the day I met you, I mean, it's a blessing to talk with you, and we need to do it more often. We will, and I'm moved by the fact of the human being that you are, and your unceasing desire to do things the right way is tangible, and it spreads, and that's the good thing. I think negativity, we talk about how fast that spreads, but goodness spreads just as quickly, depending on what we surround ourselves with, and it's contagious what you have. So I definitely am grateful that you have stayed here in our community, and I'm happy that you have done things the right way with integrity, because that speaks to your character, and that ultimately speaks to where you'll end up, because there is more after this ride. So I cannot tell you that I appreciate you enough, and I'm so honored by the fact that yes, you're a winning coach, but to me you're so much more than that as a human being, and I just feel like we're very spoiled to have you. So thank you for all that you do, and know that I'll be in touch with you soon.
Well, thanks for having me on, Dan. Have a great day.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, yeah, bye-bye.
Take care. That coming from Ed Gosek one more time on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. Just an awesome. I mean, he's just a good human being, just genuine, right? We want to win, but we're not gonna win at all costs. We're gonna win with good people, doing things the right way. I mean, what more could you ask for? Honestly, we need more of that in today's world. With that being said, we'll take a step aside and we'll round out today's trio with Gina Castelli right after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Happy to be here with you where sports meets life. Our trio of awesome guests today, starting the show off with Zach Tinkham, who is the assistant coach of the Augusta Jaguars, who are in the NCAA Division II Men's Tournament Final Four, tipping off tonight at around 6:40 p.m. Eastern Time, or 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, so make sure you check that out. And then Ed Gosek, one of the winningest, just awesome human beings on and off the ice, and then what he's done on the ice has been incredible. Over 18 years as the head coach at Oswego State, and before that an assistant coach, and before that a player. And then we get to round out the show with this trio with Miss Gina Castelli. And Gina, we always do Gina Castelli intros, and we're gonna have fun with this Gina Castelli intro. So Gina is somebody that I got to meet a little over 8 years ago when she took over the head coaching job at Lemoyne and brought them to a place that they had never been before. And just when we talk about NCAA tournaments and the opportunity to win the NE10 tournament and everything that she did, commands that, again, just like speaking with Ed and speaking with Zach, good people eventually, people look at success and say, how do you get there? And yeah, there's a way to cut corners and it's temporary, but good people doing good things, and in my opinion, having a belief in something bigger than us and having faith in God, all of those things coupled together to create a world that is sustainable. It's sustainable, it's good, and it's positive. Gina is one of those people that when you meet her, whether she was a coach or a janitor or a pilot or a teacher, whatever, it doesn't matter. She's a good human being. She's one of the people that she snuck up on me, right? Like eight plus years ago. It's like, okay, I'm going to build a relationship because I care about people, and I'm going to connect with Gina like I connect with everybody that, sees that I am who I am on and off the air. I want to build a friendship. Well, she snuck up on me because I realized last night in setting up the show and everything, I was like, she's become one of my close friends. Like, she's become somebody that I can go to. If I'm going to tell 4 people in the world about something, I bring it to Gina, and I trust her with that. So I can honestly say that she snuck up and became one of my closest friends, and she's someone that I'm always rooting for and always hoping for. And so I could introduce her as the executive coach for program development and player relations at Albany. I can introduce her as the Lemoyne women's basketball head coach that brought them to a world that they had not been. I can introduce her as a card-carrying Italian. Or I can introduce her today as the realization that not only are we friends, but I consider her one of the ones that I consider to be very close and near and dear to me. So with that being said, Miss Castelli, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. Don't you get tired of doing that?
I don't, because you know what? This is what I know. If today is my last day and God says come home, I know that I want to do everything and say everything that I mean. And I want to put it all out there into the world. So, do I ever get tired of telling the world how amazing Gina Castelli is? No, because it's true. If it wasn't true, Gina, I'm not the type of person to come on the air and bash anything. But privately, I would tell everybody you're horrible. But I don't have to do that because publicly you're a good person and privately you're a good person. So, yes, when I publicly say something good about somebody, I mean it. And I don't speak bad about Gina Castelli because I got nothing bad to say.
Well, I appreciate that, and it certainly makes me feel good, and I appreciate being a really good friend for you, and likewise for you to me. So, thank you so much for having me on. Really appreciate you continuing to have me on your show. And what do you have for me today, Dan?
I got a few things, and okay. So we'll start with the fact that you have been at the D1 level, you've been at the D2 level, you know what it's like to coach in these places, these schools that are very close in proximity to each other, but offer different avenues and whatnot and different experiences. What has the experience been like being at the University at Albany and getting to advance to the NCAA Division I tournament? You had to play a number 1 seed in Louisville. You had to go down to Kentucky. What, despite the loss in the tournament, what has the experience been like, and what did you take away from being on a stage like that?
Yeah, well, I think even last week I had spoken about, the experience itself was amazing. First from, winning the America East Championship from that point on, just how this school really made us feel like $1 million, to be honest with you, similar to what you just did introducing me, so the fanfare that we had prior to going to the games, the number of people from UAlbany that came, administration, the chartered flights, those things we remember, especially the people that just are genuinely cared about our success and being there, and then playing the University of Louisville, as you know, I mean they're number 1 seed, and it was intimidating. I'm not gonna lie. At first, it's very exciting. I mean, there's 8,500 people there, and but the way they play, they're long, they're very athletic, and they press you, from the time you start to the time you end, in a sense. So. At first, I think our players were just a little bit intimidated, but we got it together. I mean, we did have a really good second quarter. The first half of the second quarter, we would cut the lead to 4 or 5, which was great. And then the pressure, I think, just makes you feel it tires you out. Fatigue sets in a little bit, and we made some really unforced turnovers, not just turnovers that were caused by University of Louisville. So that second quarter, the end of it, really put us in a hole. And to be honest with you, our second half was awesome. In fact, the third quarter, we won 18-17. So what we tried to do throughout that entire game was get little wins. That we had small goals for that game each quarter or between each media timeout that Colleen Mullen wanted to do. And I think those things, us having a better second half for the team. And, overall, it was a great experience. And then when we watched them play Gonzaga the next game, it's similar to them too. They kind of got into a situation where they were throwing the ball away as well. So we kind of felt better about how we played in a sense. But that's a really good team, really great experience. And I know for all of the players coming back, which is everybody, it's just a great experience. It's just to understand what the NCAA tournament is about, and how we approach next season, and understanding that if you have more wins, you have a better seed in the tournament, and maybe we're not a 16 seed and maybe a 14 seed the next time we are there, or a 12 seed, and the games are going to be much more competitive.
Yeah, and like you said, finding those pieces to build upon, and finding what you could take away from playing a team like Louisville. You mentioned Colleen Mullen, the head coach there on staff at Albany for the Great Danes women's basketball program. What has it been like to work with her this season, and just to see how she goes about her business?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, she's a really funny person, very charismatic, and I think I may have mentioned that when I was at Siena, I had recruited her in the late 1990s, and we had gone back and forth. She's really small. She's a very petite woman. I think she's 5'2", 5'3". So when I first met her, people had told me about her at Siena as a player, and I'm thinking, okay, great point guard. She's so small, and my first comment to her was how short she was and how small she was, and she's never let me forget that. So, but then, she had, I think she had an offer at University of Rhode Island, and then we also had another player that we had been recruiting, and so she went to Rhode Island. We got another player, and we did have great years. Her 4 years of college were probably my best years at Siena too, and we, in a sense, kept in touch. I followed her career. She went to SNU as was her first coaching job, and then she went on and did some other Division I assistant positions until she got to UAlbany. So the experience, when she got the job at UAlbany, I jokingly had texted her, congrats, and said, when I retire, when I move back, I'd love to be able to help you out. And she said, she was great about it and said, you're welcome to come on anytime. But then it became real because I really wanted to, get back to the Albany area and kind of tame it down or tone it down with coaching and working for her. We were both not quite sure what my role was really going to be, other than she just wanted any information I could give her, in a sense, whether it was from culture to X's and O's to scouts, things like that. And it evolved into, a really good working relationship. And, to now where, she wants me to come back and things like that, which is really great. I mean, it was, it's tough going from a head coach to an assistant. You're in a much different role, but she treated me as an equal in a sense, and, really valued any information I was giving her. And whether she took it was one thing, but how she took the information with so much appreciation and respect, I really appreciated that most throughout the year. So it was a great experience my first year for sure.
And, you and I talked about it a bit, speaking here with Gina Castelli, a part of Albany's women's basketball staff, and, discovering what your job was going to be and what it was going to entail. Do you have a better definition of it after a season?
Yeah. I think my role really became more of mentoring and leadership, and so for the players, we had weekly leadership meetings, and we started from maybe even doing a series on like positive self-talk to culture, to understanding how to be mentally tougher, little some guided visualizations I had never done before. So even for me, I was kind of put in these situations where I never really did some of these things, but I was put into uncomfortable situations, and they ended up doing well with them. So so that piece, I know, will be something that I would like to continue with any program, whether I'm at UAlbany or anywhere else. And then I did a lot of practice suggestions, some X's and O's. I did a lot with scouts. So, game planning and, and game adjustments and in-game adjustments. And honestly, those are my favorite things to do, besides working with players one-on-one, which I didn't really do a lot of. I did help some kids with maybe their shot or their free throws or things like that, but I didn't really do a lot of that because in the beginning, my role wasn't that. But as time went on, when coaches had COVID or, they were not there for recruiting, I was able to help out a little bit more in those areas. So I'd like to be able to do a little bit more of that, but again, I'm part-time. So, those two things that I just spoke about were really my main roles, and it was great. I wasn't recruiting. I wasn't, working with marketing or anything like that. And so it was all the things coaches probably love to do most.
Yeah, and it seems like you got to, make it your own, that Colleen gave you an opportunity to kind of mold it. And I know that you and I spoke about when you had stepped away from Lemoyne and you said, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do, but I think it's going to have, these different components and these different pieces. And when you were speaking on that with me, it's kind of interesting because there's something that, I've done with my company that, similarly has been like okay, well, I'm going to call it this, and it's going to evolve, and it's going to have these different pieces to it. So I think it's really interesting how, there's been like an evolution of what you love to do, and there's been an evolution of what I love to do, and they're kind of like paralleling right now at a time where it's you get to take the fun of it and the excitement of it, and you get to tailor it toward what you want. And it drives me. I mean, I get ecstatic. I mean, I'm one human being, and I know you know this well, Gina, but I'm one human being. You're one human being. When I get excited about something, I'm just like, oh wow, this template could work with any college or university. So I want to have this one and this one and this one and this one. And then people are like, okay, but when are you going to sleep? And I'm like, you don't understand. Like, I love it. And so, it's really interesting to me that, over a year ago, you and I were talking about what it could be for you. And now we're seeing it be something tangible. And I'm excited because I think in the same respect, we can, have Gina Castelli in a certain respect be connected to different places, doing different things, and being that extra voice, that extra pair of eyes, and that expertise that I think is going to turn into something really prominent for you and really good.
Yeah. It's interesting you're saying that because, I've had a couple coaches reach out to me, in the last few weeks, discussing maybe their culture or, some X's and O's. So, it would be kind of neat to see where it could evolve. It's tough in coaching because there could be conflicts of interest. So if you're working with another Division I team, and you're working with UAlbany, you don't really know how the head coaches would feel about me branching out, into and helping others. So it's that's the piece right now that I have to kind of navigate through more. And again, because sometimes for me, I don't know how you do what you do, Dan, because I'm not one that can juggle many things. If I'm with one program, I'm good with one thing at a time, but to have like multiple things in the air and balls in the air like that, it would stress me out a little bit. So I do want to see if I can branch out a little bit more, but I'm not sure to what degree, because I'm not sure I could handle it all. I look at you and think, I don't know how he does it. So, but maybe I could, and so I'm not ever going to say no to, no to new opportunities. I certainly am like you. I love it. And, if I can offer any piece of my experience to somebody that that needs it, I certainly would want to help that person out.
Yeah, and I think what we essentially need, Gina, is the fact that since you love to help people, I love to help people, love to be creative and driven by it, and I appreciate your compliments, and I'll work to earn that. But to me, looking at what you just said, I think that maybe we should just have a firm created together. And I like, Castelli and DT, I'm good with it. You know what I mean? And
that's so funny.
And we figure out a way to do it. And this is what it could be. It could be a place for multimedia marketing partnerships. It could be a place for coaching development and team building. So we would have all these different components, and we would also have within the office a clinic for people that have severe, now wait for me on this. Get ready for it. Severe superstition syndrome.
Oh, there you go. Yes,
So,
exactly. I could have that one. For sure. that doesn't even take much from me. I could give you them all,
So, I mean,
the poor UAlbany staff with the superstitions. I'm like, they got all taught. Yeah, we all got caught up in that, and that was my fault for sure.
Well, because the thing is, you're probably sitting, you're sitting there on the bus or the plane or whatever, and they're probably like, oh yeah, getting ready for the game and this and that, and then Gina leans in and goes, hey, last time we got on a bus at 3:04 p.m. and I ate a chip, we won, but I don't have any chips on the bus, so we're gonna have to pull over.
That's pretty much it right there. And then one thing leads to another. It's like, the right pen. You can't. Yeah, I mean, it was, but hey, it worked. We won. So I'm gonna have to find new ones for next year.
Yeah, and I have to ask you before I let you go here today, and there's so much more to talk about and plenty to do. And now that the season has come to a close, I know that you're always doing something, but we have an excuse to ramp up some more. I'll never forget the text message where Gina sent to me and said, "Did you forget about me?" And I was like, Gina, I don't forget about good people. I try to forget about the not great ones, but I don't forget about the good people. And I always have my ear to the ground. So I got to ask you, Buffalo's been making a lot of changes. We talked about some of it last time. Yeah. But the entire NFL, we spoke like a week and a half ago, and now Tyreek Hill is with the Dolphins. The world, Deshaun Watson had 20-some-odd cases against him. None of them criminal stuff. It took 2 years to find out that nothing was going to happen. Now he's a Brown. Baker Mayfield didn't want to be there anymore. I mean, the world of the NFL has gotten somewhat insane. And the Falcons, I said last season, we're going to see at some point here soon, within the next couple of years, they're going to let go of Matt Ryan and the era is going to be over. I didn't think it was going to happen this abruptly, but what's going on in the NFL now that it's open season, essentially?
I don't know. All I care about, that Tyreek Hill right now is a Dolphin, and we got to play him twice, and he killed us. So when I heard that, I'm like, oh God, So I'm like, oh boy, he's good. He's really good. I'm thinking, why didn't we get him? But we got Von Miller, so maybe he'll help us in that end. But I don't know. I mean, there's just a lot of movement everywhere. It just seems, to like the thing to do in pro sports. It's not just football.
No, it's gotten pretty intense and interesting.
In college sports, I mean, look at all the kids in the transfer portal. I mean, it just seems like that's the thing to do. It's like move around.
Well, and they're gonna have to have a transfer team, because when that musical chairs ends and there's all those kids that have nothing, there's more in the portal at the end, arguably, because you're getting recruited again, and if you don't make a decision quick enough, I mean, you might be leaving a bad situation. But if you're not making the decisions at the right time, you could go, this is how crazy it is. You could go from being a high school kid hoping you get recruited to getting a bunch of opportunities, picking one, leaving, trying to get recruited again, and then being a sophomore and having nowhere to go as if you never went to college.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is crazy, and you just hope, especially, kids entering the transfer portal, that they're making the right decisions, to do that. I mean, I could definitely see kids using their COVID year and, and entering the transfer portal for one more year as a grad student. But it's just a little scary where, everybody's trying to look for greener pastures. And, sometimes the best place is the place you're at. And it just takes a little bit longer time for you to get a little bit the time that you need, or the time that you want, not so much time you need. And, it's scary. And, I mean, currently for us at UAlbany, there's nobody in the transfer portal, and that's great, because we have everybody coming back. So, and that says a lot about the culture that we have too. So, but yeah, it's scary. It is. Transfer team.
Well, If UAlbany football needs anybody, there's about 1,000 people in the Syracuse transfer portal.
Yeah.
So,
oh my goodness.
but
God.
yeah, it's gotten intense. It
is. It is.
So with that being said, Gina Castelli here.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you as always for all that you
really
bring.
Appreciate you. You too. I appreciate everything you're doing for everybody.
Well, thank you so much. You and I have more to discuss, and we will do that very soon. In the meantime, poor you is down in Florida golfing, so have a good day.
Gotta go to my tea time. See you later.
All right, take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
See you. That coming from Gina Castelli one more time on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. Appreciate you being here. As always, every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube.com, Facebook.com, and MixLR.com, all / Wake Up Call DT. Also appreciate you being on WakeUpCallDT.com and on Facebook.com / LiveNowDT, a second place to watch the show, as well as on Facebook.com / WakeUpCallDT. So thank you for that. You can connect with us by searching Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on these platforms. You can get us on Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Podbean, YouTube, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, and MixLR. All you have to do on any one of these many avenues is to search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Thanks to God that we have the opportunity to reach on one of these, let alone all of them. And a thank you to our Central and Upstate New York partners and beyond, Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, Wildcat Sports Pub, PB&J's Lunchbox, where you can get my DT CNY nachos. They are the perfect partner for March Madness. You have 4 games to watch today. Nachos are available. You need to go get them. And you can put the protein of your choice on top of it because it's got the base of all the ingredients I use at home to make my nachos. It has the base of all of that, topped off with the protein of your choice, some bang bang sauce, just awesome stuff. So make sure you get out to PB&J's Lunchbox Monday through Saturday, including today for game day. And while you're watching Augusta, while you're watching the Sweet 16 for D1, everything you're doing, go out there and get some DT's CNY nachos. I'm very excited. That's what they're called. It's weird for me to say it in the third person, but my nachos, which are called the DT CNY nachos, because I was born here and I made my nacho recipe, and it's now at PB&J's Lunchbox in our community. So 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. You can also order my nachos on DoorDash, Grubhub, Eat Street, and Uber Eats from PB&J's Lunchbox. Canine Campground Dog Daycare, Avicoli's, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. Go to maandpaspopcorn.com right now, and you can order from anywhere in the country and have it delivered to you. As well as if you go to Ma and Pa's today, by close, all day today before they close, 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. You could fill out a bracket there, a second chance Sweet 16 bracket, where each team is assigned a flavor, and whichever team wins the championship, if you get it right, you get a free bag of that flavor from Ma and Pa's, and it's only being run exclusively through Wake Up Call, and of course, many of you have done it digitally, so I want to thank you for that. You can fill one bracket out today by going to Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, 201 Old 7th North Street. Literally, you have to go today, Thursday, March 24th, because the brackets have to be submitted by 7 o'clock tonight, so make sure you get out there. Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Pizza Man, Millhouse Market, Honda City of Liverpool, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Mother's Cupboard, and Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the proud multimedia marketing partner of your... Lemoyne College Dolphins. It is Dolphin time every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. You can hang out with me as well as the athletics director of Lemoyne College. Every first and third Wednesday, we have at 9 a.m. Eastern Time exclusive sit-down conversations with athletics director Bob Beretta, with an amazing opportunity to have a true look inside of athletics at Lemoyne, what the plans are and what's going on. And the coverage that we have with Bob Beretta is second to none in our multimedia marketing partnership. So every first and third Wednesday, we'll feature that, as well as next week, we get a bonus AD and DT, so you can watch that. And every second and fourth Wednesday, we have the Dolphin Dive, where we dive into the stories of student athletes, coaches, staff members, future Dolphins, as well as alumni. You can check all that out by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as by going to the Lemoyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com, bookmarking it and saving it, And, of course, for more information on your Dolphins, you can go to LeMoyneDolphins.com. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is the proud multimedia marketing partner of your Marywood University Pacers. It is Pacer Pride every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and the Pacer Pride exclusive episodes you can see as they happen. On Fridays, a new one gets launched every single week around 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time to round out the week of Wake Up Call shows. A fantastic way to round it out with my alma mater of Marywood University. Pacer Pride specials are available to you on the Marywood tab on wakeupcalldt.com, on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe and get our Marywood content on our YouTube channel. And, of course, you can get more information on your Pacers by going to marywoodpacers.com. That music gets me amped up literally every time. I don't know if it's my Hispanic heritage. I don't know what it is. I love rhythm. I love music. I love beats. And I love the fact that we're working with Brian and Stratton College with those Syracuse Bobcats. The Bobcat Buzz, new episodes air for you all throughout each month, and I am so excited that we have two fantastic upcoming episodes, one featuring athletic director and men's soccer head coach and national champion Nick Dmitrievsky, and our second one coming right after that with assistant athletic director as well as women's soccer head coach and national champion Alex Grigorita. Those two special Bobcat Buzz episodes are coming up for you very, very soon, and I cannot wait to share those with you. And you can see all of our Bobcat Buzz episodes, including our roundtable discussion with our inaugural episode with a whole grouping of the coaches, which was fantastic, with Clay Gagan-Sherman, Dan Frasina, Sean Peake, Alex Grigorita, and Nick Dmitrievsky, as well as all of our content with the men's and women's basketball team as they ran through an opportunity to get to the USCAA National Tournament, the men's team making history, the women's team returning in just being a few years old each. So great content there. Fantastic time with the women's basketball team, getting to hear from the student athletes. So make sure that you're checking out our Bobcat Buzz episodes all on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, on the BSC SYR tab on wakeupcalldt.com, and get more information on the Bobcats by going to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. I would love to say one more time a big thank you to Zach Tinkham. And let's go win, baby. Let's do it. Final Four tonight, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The Augusta Jaguars with an opportunity to play for a national championship. And Zach Tinkham, the Marywood University alum, student-athlete alum from the basketball team himself, just a couple years removed, and now a full-time assistant coach for the NCAA Division II program, the Augusta Jaguars under Coach Dip. So very excited for Augusta tonight, excited for Zach Tinkham. So happy that we got to give you a game day special as they get ready for the Final Four, and I'm so excited in the fact to just say Final Four for Augusta. Final Four, Final Four, Final Four, Final Four. Let's get it. And for Ed Gosek, someone who gave us an incredible conversation about so much more than ice hockey. He's a fantastic coach. He's an even better person, and that man doesn't quit. No matter what adversity, no matter what pain, no matter what is set in his path and everything he had to go through with his wife and her battle with ovarian cancer, Ed has always looked out for other people. And I hope that we can be a heartbeat for Ed, because he's been a heartbeat for so many, I'm sure. Gina Castelli, speaking of heartbeat, fantastic human being, wonderful person, and such a hard worker. I am more than honored and privileged to know Gina Castelli, and I'm so happy that they made it to the NCAA tournament, and I'm so happy for her that she's loving what she's doing and that she's involving herself in a way where we get to keep her in this wonderful sports world. So I'm very honored. So for Gina, for Ed, for Zach, thank you. For you, inside the Cafe Kubal Studios, Wake Up Call on the socials. Find us at Wake Up Call DT on Facebook, at Call DT on the Twitter, at Wake Up Call _DT on Instagram. And guess what? We'll see you tonight from 5 to 6 p.m. with Baldwinsville Girls Lacrosse. They just chose their captains, and their captains, on the heels of the captains being decided by the team, those captains, that trio, will talk with me on stage at Pizza Man tonight with their head coach as we usher in the 2022 season for Baldwinsville Bees girls lacrosse with the team. We get to be the show that gets to jump off the season, and we get to be the show that gets to introduce your captains to the public. I'm ecstatic. I love it. I love being at Pizza Man. 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville, New York. We'll see you there tonight, March 24th from 5 to 6 p.m. And in the meantime, as always, God bless, no stress, do your best.